All right, guys, Sanch here. Welcome back to another episode on the Bodybuilding News Network. I hope you are having a fantastic Saturday as we are watching the prejudging for the men's open bodybuilding at the 2021 Arnold Classic, the Arnold Classic, the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. Now, as we have the projected top four coming out, the projected top four from left to right, we have Justin Rodriguez, Steve Kuklo, Ian Valier, and Nick Walker, the favorite, in my opinion, coming into this show since William Bonac had to drop out because of visa issues. We also had Rolly Winkler, and he dropped out because of travel issues, or well, I'm not really sure what he dropped out for, but he did drop out. And then we also had Cedric McMillan, who dropped out for, I thought it was visa, but if he's here, it's obviously not a visa issue. But moving into this frontable bicep, I mean, what do you guys think? Where do your eyes go when we're looking at this frontable bicep? When I was looking at these front shots, specifically the front shots, I thought that Ian and Nick had a good comparison fighting for this 1 and 2, but I think that Steve is doing a great job of showing his mass, showing his muscular maturity in these front shots. Now, the side shots, when we talk about the side shots, these are usually going to be Ian's shots. But I want you to look at the legs, the calves, the glute to hamstring insertions on all these competitors. And then also give a good amount of time to look at the chest, look at the cross striations and the pectorals, how they're pushing against each other. And then also, if you want to go back afterwards and look at it, we'll have more opportunities to look at more of these side chest shots. But the side chest shot, you also want to look at how the delt is being pushed, the rear delt is being pushed in that shot. The back double shots, I feel like these are Nick Walker's shots. The hamstring conditioning, the calves, the double biceps. When you're looking at the bicep peaks, the trap development, the lower back development. I mean, come on. Look at the back development on Nick Walker. Absolutely fantastic. In my opinion, probably the best on the stage, projected to win the show, in my opinion. And Totoro agrees that Nick Walker is looking fantastic. But in no disrespect to Justin Rodriguez, unfortunately, he's on the outside of this top four. Projected, of course, projected. So sometimes your eyes don't always go to that far left. But, when you're looking at Ian, you just know that Ian is going to be in that conversation. Unfortunately, Justin Rodriguez won his Indy Pro show very, very early in the year. So the hype train really wasn't on him as much as someone like Ian coming into this Arnold Classic. And of course, there's the narrative of Steve. This guy really wants to win the show. This is his last chance to qualify for the 2021 Mr. Olympia, just a couple weeks out. These ab shots, I mean, Nick looks like a stone statue. He ain't moving. Look at this guy. He ain't moving. He knows he's got this shot. He wants the judges to see his strengths, not potentially weaknesses from having an excessive amount of transitions. Most musculars. Again, a big Nick shot. I think that a lot of these guys could learn some takeaways here, especially for maybe like someone like a Steve and potentially an Ian. Although Ian does look very conditioned, the quads just didn't look as conditioned as what I would like to see, and that's my opinion. Of course, you can have your own, and let me know down below how you guys are feeling about that projected top four coming in to the finals here at the Arnold Classic. Now, a little bit different here for the news coverage for the Arnold Classic this year. This is a free program, so I didn't chop it up to, kind of give the promoters that product still to sell, because if I just show them the whole dang thing, what do they have to sell? It's really, in my opinion, although it's transformative, legally it's covered, it does feel like it's stealing. So this coverage is free $99. So we're going to be watching the entire prejudging for men's open bodybuilding at this year's Arnold Classic. Now, from the left to the right, apologies if I mess up a name, but I should have them all off the top of my head. We have Mohammed El Imam on the left. Hassan Mustafa was there. He's all the way on the left in the blue trunks. And then next to him, we have Sergio. Wow, Sergio Oliva Jr. I think I had a seizure right there. Akeem Williams in the green trunks. Max Charles, apologies, in the red trunks, and Chung So Lee in the black trunks on the far right. Now, a little bit tougher of a comparison here since it's a little bit more zoomed out, but we can still see a lot of good conditioning. We can see a lot of good separation. Sergio, really taking up a lot of space. He's a big guy. He's got a lot of conditioning. He's got a lot of hype coming into the show. He's maybe not my favorite person, but as an athlete, he is absolutely fantastic. The striations, the thickness of the bellies with his musculature, and when we're also, you also want to look at someone like an Akeem. I think Akeem is probably going to be one of those favorites in this shot, especially for how wide Akeem is, the amount of muscle that he has on his frame. Especially in these side shots. Love the side shots from Akeem. You really can't see it, but he's got a horse leg. The amount of striations, separation in his glute to hamstring tie-ins, and even in the glutes, the side, what is it, the adductors? The adductors of the leg are very well defined in Akeem Williams. But I don't want to overlook anyone like Mohammed El Imam, very well conditioned, seasoned competitor this year. He's done a lot of shows. Hassan Mustafa has done a lot of shows. He did, I think, 5 different shows this year. So a lot of these guys, a lot of shows. Max Charles. I keep wanting to call him Charles Griffin. Max Charles, I think he's done 3 shows this year. And then Sung Cho Lee, I think this is his first show besides, I can't even recall the last show he did. But overall, when we're looking at this second call out, guys, I think that the favorites are going to be Akeem Williams and Sergio Oliva Jr., 2 of the biggest guys on the stage, especially when we're talking about tall guys. Akeem is very tall for IFBB pro. He ain't no 6'5", but Sergio, he's got to be touching that 6 foot, 6'1". I mean, he's just a massive man. So love what I'm seeing here in the second call out. And who knows how this could get mixed up. Maybe one of these guys could get thrown up into that top 4. But when you think about the second call out, the middle 2 guys, that's your projected 5th and 6th place. So one of those is a podium finish. Obviously, this isn't the finals. So we're going to have some time. We'll have some time to break this down for these guys to get a little sharper, potentially a little sharper. But, who knows? Let me know down below, guys, how you guys feel about this second call out at this year's Arnold Classic in Ohio, the historical Arnold Classic in Ohio. Loved the second call out. A lot of these guys, I don't think anyone came not in shape. Everyone looked pretty good. Everyone looked pretty sharp. No one had any crazy deficiencies. But, when you think about the Arnold Classic, you're not really going to have deficiencies. You're not going to have things that are missing, muscle insertions being kind of wonky and wacky. You might have someone with a little bit more overdeveloped muscle group, and that's not a bad thing. It could be. It could be if it pulls away from the physique. You think of somebody like an Akeem Williams. His legs are just so crazy big that sometimes it outweighs the rest of his physique. And then you look at someone like a Justin Rodriguez, his shoulders. I mean, that guy has probably some of the best delt development on stage, maybe next to a Max Charles. Haha, got it right this time. As you can see here, guys, this is going to be your projected 4 through, math is hard, 4 through 8. So they did not bring Steve Kuklo back up. They did not bring Nick Walker back up. So those are probably your projected 1 and 2s for prejudging. But looking at these 4 gentlemen here, I think Justin is really holding his own next to someone like an Ian. Very impressive physiques. Sergio, we're all a fan of Sergio. His physique is very impressive. And I think it stands up really well next to someone like an Ian. And just as I say that, they take him away from Ian. But Justin, I think Justin has it against these guys. And let me know down below. Let me know how you guys are feeling about Akeem Williams, because I always have a difficult time. See how you see that side leg shot? Crazy. But I always have a hard time seeing the conditioning, the deep separations of Akeem. He's just such a dark individual, especially on the stage. It's really hard for me, and maybe that's just my untrained eye. But I definitely have a harder time seeing his conditioning. But if the judges are putting him outside the top 6, outside the top 5, outside of a podium placing at the Arnold Classic, I think that says something about his conditioning. But let me know down below. Now, Ian, I thought it was funny. Arnold was roasting a lot of these guys for having smaller calves. So, you might be able to get away with it. The judges might not say anything, but the legacy pieces in bodybuilding, they notice the zero calves on some of these guys. But other guys, Justin Rodriguez got some sick calves on him. Sergio has some proportionate calves on him. But I don't want to make this a calves comparison. When we're looking at these back shots, Justin, again, very impressive back, very wide and full. Akeem probably has the best back on the stage. It's just, I guess it's hard for the judges to see it. But also, not every show is won from one pose. If that was true, then Phil Klahar would probably be on this stage, with him having a better back than Ian at several of these shows this year. So every show is not won by one shot, although back in the day, me coming up in bodybuilding shows were won from the back. That's what they said. That was the slogan, and that's been one of my main focuses with my training. But again, back to the show. Justin, very controlling positioning here, center stage for this projected 3rd place. And then Sergio, I think, is pushing it very close as well. I'd like to see a little bit closer comparison between Sergio and Ian. I think that they compare well in some capacities. Unfortunately, it looks like Akeem is being overlooked on a lot of this, and it is what it is. The judges must see something that we do not from the desktop. But when we're looking at, I think they're going to bring up Steve and Nick Walker, Steve Kuklo, out of Texas, and Nick Walker, an East Coast fella, training out of Florida as of late. Very impressive physiques out of both of these guys, but I mean, come on, look at this. Look at these. Okay, so they're going to go through the mandatories. Look at these mandatory shots. Nick Walker, I feel, let me know. Let me know in the comment sections. Take a second, pause it, pull out your notepad or your Microsoft Word or your Google Docs or I don't even know what else is out there. But let me know what shots Steve wins in these comparisons. I feel like Nick has this. When you look at the musculature, the separation, the development in the lower back, development in the upper back, the separation in the midsections. Although I think Steve might have a smaller midsection right here. It's very flat. Looks like he needs more oil. He looks kind of flat. When we're talking about the oil, I'm not really talking about maybe filling out the physique. I think he's very full. I don't know if he can improve this package much more than he already has. But some of these competitors, they do get a little bit sharper with posing. When they're standing up there in the light, going through these routines, going through these shots, they sweat it out, they get sharper. So Steve might be one of those guys. I'm not too sure. But Ian's one of those guys. I feel like he gets sharper the more we talk about, and the longer he goes through the shots. Nick Walker, just a statue. He's been practicing this stuff all the way since when he won the New York Pro. Not in New York, but regardless, Nick, this guy, I feel he has a very strong position to win this show and move into the Mr. Olympia with a very good head on his shoulders, a very good hype train going behind him. But let me know, guys. Again, let me know, is Steve winning any of these shots? What shots does Steve win against a Nick Walker? Especially when we look at this level, this conditioned of a Nick Walker, and not saying anything against his New York conditioning, because that was world class as well. But I just don't see that Steve has enough to knock out the favorite, in my opinion, and to a lot of people, Nick Walker. Although I do have a feeling that that might have been a narrative that could have been going around with the politics of bodybuilding, as nobody wants to talk about it, but I don't mind. I don't mind. This is Steve's only chance to qualify for the Olympia. And who knows how many more years this guy's going to be doing it. I know he's in his mid-30s, so he still has a lot of time, but, you know, who knows? Who knows? He took a lot of time off as of late, doing a lot of traveling, I saw on his Instagram. But that was a narrative, could have been a narrative behind the scenes, behind the curtains. But I just don't think he has enough to what it takes to take out Nick Walker. Nick did his homework. He's improved on everything, especially this front double bicep. And I just don't think that there's any room for Nick to potentially not win this show. But of course, there's always going to be a chance, right? Something terrible could happen. Nothing like crazy, but someone could get flat. Someone their blood sugar could go crazy, and they could show up really flat. They could show up soft. Things like that happen. It happens in bodybuilding. Sometimes it does happen. But I think that Matt Jensen, Nick Walker's coach, I feel like they've been working together all the way since 2017, I believe it was, when I watched the interview with Fuad Abiad, one of the best bodybuilding channels out there. And sure, you guys are following him as well, but we're going to have more time to talk about this. Stay tuned. I have to go into work for about 4 hours today, so it'll be a little bit cut close coming into the finals, but myself and Ty Jordan will be breaking down the prejudging. We'll be breaking down the finals for you, so enjoy that video when that does come out. But overall, I don't know, guys. A lot of these shots, I think Nick's winning. I think that Steve looks really good. It's just really hard for me, it's hard to compare them. It's a lot of apples and oranges. Now, Nick is one of those shorter competitors, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to compare. Steve, very, very tall gentleman. It's very different. They're different physiques, but I don't think that you can outweigh or overlook the conditioning that Nick Walker has brought to this show. That's what I'm saying. That's how I feel. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed my commentary on the prejudging for the 2021 Men's Open Bodybuilding at this year's Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. Stay tuned for more coverage on the Arnold Classic, and I'll see you guys in the next one.